How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a game called The Flame in the Flood. So it's a bit of a survival game set in a post-apocalyptic United States, as far as I can tell. The general premise is that a lot of the country has been flooded and most transportation takes place on a raft, and you are an individual lone kind of survivor who has a couple of objectives in their quest book, and that's your driving goal to progress forward. Now, this is a game that I got for free on Humble Bundle. Sometime in the past couple of weeks, it was being given away, and I just picked it up because I am interested in survival games, as you might have figured out. And I thought it would be something interesting to just play a little bit and see what it was about. I've, at the moment, put about 90 minutes into the game, so it's a little bit less. Usually I tend to go like 2 hours before I try to do a first impressions, taste of style thing that we have going on here. But in this case, I think I know enough about how the gameplay core loop works that I can sort of showcase it for you. So let's continue here. I've got a game that I've previously been playing. You can see the little dog goes up to the previous dead survivor. Apparently the dog persists throughout the game saves. So from master to master, the dog is a constant. Okay, so here we are currently docked at one of the islands. Here's my raft, and the raft, okay, this is something that happens from time to time. My cursor wasn't showing up at first. The raft is how you move from island to island. So you can see there's a lot of water around here and whatnot. But when you go inside the island, this is where you explore and find resources. Now, unfortunately, this part of the island I've actually cleared out quite a bit. But as you can see, it's a very unique perspective, and we got something to search for right here. I haven't actually searched the back of this car, I guess. And there was empty. Okay, but there could have been something in it. So you have these little islands. They're generally not too big. Right there's a crow. If we chase it away, it'll drop a feather. We can pick the feather up. You need to use that to make bows and stuff. Oh, is that a pig? I think we have a pig. Yeah, that's a pig. Okay. Yeah, I probably want to run away right now because pigs are notorious for trying to kill me. So we're going to run away right now. And wow, this pig is really following. Let's hope it doesn't follow us over here. In the past, I've been killed by pigs, so that's something you want to keep in mind. To kill a pig, we're going to need to go into my inventory here. And the thing I'm looking for is a type of trap. So if we can find it, it's... because I can't build a bow yet. You can craft stuff in this game. And I'm not sure where the trap is. Here we go, a spear trap. 3 braided cord, 3 saplings, and 1 stone knife. We can craft a spear trap like this. Once we have it crafted, it will show up in our inventory. So here you can see is the spear trap. This is our backpack inventory. Right here is the dog's inventory, and then the raft also has its own inventory, so you can move resources around there. And as you can see, we've collected quite a few different things, like there are cattails, dandelions, yucca as a food. So we also have 4 different bars here, 4 different values to maintain. Pretty standard stuff for survival games. You know, we've got our hunger, we've got our thirst, body temperature, and fatigue, which is like sleep. So we have to keep those all balanced out. We've got the snare trap though, so I'm just going to go over here and try to snare this. Is it a snare trap? It's not a snare trap, it's a spike trap. We're going to set it up somewhere over here. Sort of near the boar, but just far enough away where it won't attack us while I'm deploying it. So as you can see right here is the trap. We're just going to right click to set it up. You can see she builds it, and once it's set up, we're going to try to bait the boar over here. So the boar is around this church. There you can see it, maybe in the shadows lurking. It's running at me now. Let's try to... oh, it chickened out. Okay. Come on. Come on, boar. Run after me. Run after me. What the hell? Come on, run. Run to me. Run to me. You know you want to do it. There we go. Boar killer. Brilliant. So now we can search this. And we've got some loot here. We can take raw meat and a boar hide. Very nice. We can also search some of these other containers that I haven't searched previously. Got things like stitching kit and rags. So all these things are useful. Boarhide gloves, schematic added to the journal. Okay, we actually do have a lot of resources here. I thought I cleared this island out, but maybe it just didn't save. So yeah, there's a lot of resources to pick up. At the moment, my inventory is 20 out of 20, so I might want to open that up and switch some of these resources over to Aesop, the dog. Let's see here. Maybe something like these 10 dandelions. And we have a lot of dandelions, no kidding. Oop, that's poison sumac right there. Gotta avoid walking in that. So you can take damage over time. This is one time where I didn't take any damage from the boar. Fortunately, in the past, I've been beaten to a bloody pulp, though. So that's something to keep in mind. There was a devil's trumpet. You can sleep inside containers or buildings. So right here is like an old school bus. You can sleep inside there. Since we actually do need some sleep, I think I'm going to go ahead and give myself 4 hours. Usually you'll want to try to sleep when it's raining out because you don't want to be out in the rain anyway. But in my case, we really do need some sleep there before we head off again. Food and water are looking okayish, but I wish it was a little bit better. And we want to make sure that we have a decent amount of those stats before we head off. Here's another sapling. Head off on our raft, but I think we've pretty much explored that area. So let's take a look at what the wider world has to offer. I also might want to put some stuff in my raft here before we leave. Okay, so Devil's Trumpet, I think I'm putting in the raft, along with 10 of these dandelions from Aesop's pack, and 1 feather. Here's an ash cake. We can consume this, so I'm going to go ahead and eat that, just to get our hunger up here a little bit more. You can see it jumped from 48 to 68. And now let's board the raft. You board the raft by right-clicking on it, and we're off on another adventure. Unfortunately, my raft is quite beat to hell, so I need to be very careful here. Now that we're out in the water, you can see kind of what's going on here. This is a general idea of the wider world around us. At the moment, we're not moving anywhere, but as you can see, we have objectives in the distance. It lists the amount of... Oops, it's raining now, come to think of it. It lists the amount of area, for some reason in meters, that it is to the next location. And as you can see, like here we have a Red Cross kind of camp. Right there we have repair. We probably should try to go to the repair. We also have some sort of repair hammer down here. Now, I'm not that familiar with the symbols themselves, but I can tell you that there is an important distinction to make. Let's try to speed up here. We can adjust the way the raft moves by using the WASD kind of keys. And we can also press shift. Nope, that's very bad. Let's try to dock here. You can press shift to try to maneuver it. So if you're pressing A, for example, it will cause you to go to the left side. And if you press shift while holding down A, you'll jump to that side. I really didn't give you a good example of it there. And unfortunately, my raft here is quite damaged. No, let's not get on the raft. Okay, it looks like it's done raining. Hopefully, it's not raining too much anymore. So here we have another location. I'm not exactly sure what this was supposed to be. Was this another farm? No, we got a rattlesnake. That could be deadly. A lot of these enemies I haven't run into before. But this is a lot of what The Flame in the Flood is about. You are this one character who's running around exploring these areas. You gotta try to find the resources you need to prevent yourself from dying. For some reason I couldn't research it from there. Oh, lumber and bolts and nuts. Those are going to be important for building the raft. Let's see if I can get back to the raft without running into that rattlesnake again. There's a lot over here to explore, so we probably won't be doing it. I'm surprised it's still raining for me because it's... I don't see rain happening, I guess you could say, at the moment. So here we are back at the raft. I'm going to open up the raft inventory. I'm not sure if I can repair the raft without something special. Yeah, as you can see right here is the wet meter. Our inventory. We can craft different stuff to put it in there. These are the items we have equipped. So one of the things I really don't like about this game so far is how the save system works. I think it should automatically save whenever you exit, but instead it has this system set up where it kind of saves whenever you begin a new game, a new day. But the weird thing about it is it doesn't save exactly then, and I've seen resources respawn and whatnot, so that's one downside for me. But overall, it's pretty interesting as a concept, and I think the artwork is absolutely superb. If you take a look at this, it has a very distinctive style to it, much like Don't Starve does. It's got that hand-drawn aesthetic. You know, these were not just a bunch of assets that were thrown together in Unity. You can tell there was a good amount of care for detail that went into designing a lot of these, made the trees look stylish and whatnot. And in some ways, if you've ever seen the movie Hoodwinked, it reminds me of the way that looked. And that was a movie that went for this sort of cutout aesthetic, as if you had a storybook that was a pop-up storybook, and you could open the pages for it, and you know, the buildings and whatnot would pop up. So that car was empty there. I'm not exactly sure what else to really show you. I suppose I could hop on the raft again. One problem I'm having with the raft is it's quite damaged at this point. There are enemies that you're going to run into around this world and whatnot. Like I showed you the boar before. For some reason, I still am wet. I have no idea how that's happening because it's not raining anymore. But I've never had my raft become completely destroyed, but if you take a look at this little bottom indicator down here, you can tell my raft is almost completely destroyed at this point. There's a little wrench below my character, and that indicates the raft's health. So what we really need to do is find a shipyard, so that way we can repair the raft, because I've got the boards and stuff now. And you can upgrade your raft too and whatnot. So it's like a traveling apocalypse survival machine of sorts. And you move along these streams. I guess they're streams. You know, it's flooded area, and you move from place to place. They're called, I think they're called areas or something. You can see we have different paths to take here. They might, you know, each one might lead us to different things. We got a lot of risky water to navigate ahead here. I mean, we could actually get destroyed here in this one. I'm a little bit, yeah, I'm worried about that. One more hit and we're goners. So I think it's pretty legitimate to be worried about that. No! And there you go, drowning. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but this is the first time I've actually died in the game, I think. So that's something you get to experience with me. Cause of death, drowning. So make sure to always keep your raft repaired, I guess, is the lesson to be learned from that. It's a new personal best. Drowning. Days survived 8. New survival record. Distance traveled 7.3 miles. So I guess here it sort of outlines the journey that I took. And I made different stops along the way. And I could have made different decisions as to the places I visited on those days. You can... Oh, wait. Here we go. This is a much better view of it. Wow, I did travel quite a ways. So I traveled all the way down here from up here. And yeah, you can see all the stops that I made along the way. And you can choose different stops. Like if at this location you decided not to go fishing, but to get a camp instead where they have a fire, you know, it's certainly doable. So that's pretty interesting. Restore checkpoint. Or we can actually restore checkpoint here, or we go to the main menu. Yeah, let's restore a checkpoint. Apparently we can try this again. And here we've got church up ahead. Oop, that was rough. Yeah, and as you can see those icons floating on the screen, we can decide which ones we need to visit the most. So I could sail in here to this church location. Now, the other thing, it says church good shelter often has rags, stitching kits, and alcohol, just so you know sort of what to expect from these locations, and over time you kind of remember it. So the game has overarching goals. For example, kill a boar, radio signal, basic tools, bait shopper. These are the quests, I guess you could say. They're called goals here, but these are the quests that I've gotten so far. I've completed 2 of them. I have completed boar killer in the past, as you've probably noticed. And then we have the afflictions. It's because it's cold out here. I mean, we've taken a look at this menu before, but I just wanted to cover them in a little bit more depth. This is where your, you know, health problems will show up. So if you've been attacked by an animal or you've run into poison sumac, your afflictions will show up here. And you can cure them using various different things. If you have like a laceration, you can cure it using a sewing kit and stuff. And then, of course, you have your crafting menu, and you have different types of things to craft. You've got the insulated clothing, I guess, is one of them. There's food to craft, there is first aid, and then there are utilities. And these are a lot of the important stuff, like spear trap. You saw me demonstrate how to deploy that. We have a snare, you can trap rabbits. We have a box trap if you want to catch the rabbits alive, etc. And then, of course, you have your inventory. This is where you have to manage the resources you have available. So I feel like some of it really does come down to luck as to what you're going to find. And then, of course, you have your actual clothing inventory and your character's equip screen for the clothing inventory. And it has day-night cycle, as you probably saw up here. We've been to this place before. This is the one of the boar. So apparently when you die, you don't have to go all the way back, which is pretty interesting. But I suppose if you make enough bad decisions, you'll end up in a position where even if you restart at a previous save point per se, there's just no way you can improve from there because you've made too many bad decisions. But yeah, that is the flame in the flood. Not sure if I really get the name. It seems a little bit difficult to remember. Someone was asking me about it on stream not that long ago, and I just I couldn't remember the exact name of it, which is a little bit unfortunate because one of the things that can power your success as a game is word of mouth, and if people don't remember what your game was called, that could be a bit of a problem there, couldn't it? So I hope that gave you a taste of what the game is about. Maybe it's for you, maybe it isn't. I personally feel more positive about the game than anything else. I think it's got some fairly strong and unique aspects to it. But that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I hope to see you next time.